Trey. Joining me right now, Dr. Chico Tillmon, the Executive Director for Heartland Alliance National Community Violence Intervention Initiative. I know that you've been really instrumental with the Biden administration. You've been a subject matter expert for the White House. You've worked with the YMCA, I believe,
yes,
as a director there. So talk a little bit about what we need to do in your mind to change the discussion over what gun control, gun reform looks like in 2022.
There's a few things going on and a few bills that are present that need to be addressed. One of them is breaking the cycle bill, which would allow individuals that do work, such as myself, in community violence intervention to intervene on situations before it's escalated to a point where an individual can commit harm, because I believe people shoot people, not guns, by themselves. But there needs to be some other laws that are up there passed in order to raise the age of individuals that are able to purchase guns, and we need to ban assault rifles that are used for cataclysmic events like we saw in Uvalde and in Buffalo.
Uvalde and Buffalo certainly right on our minds, but it seems as though maybe the American consciousness is growing numb to some of these tragedies. Do you think that a lot of Americans would sit here and say, if they were sitting with us, you know, I'm a responsible gun owner, I need to protect myself from some of the criminals out there who are using these guns, these ghost guns, or these AR-15 rifles or assault weapons illegally?
You know what? I am an individual that believes that citizens should have Second Amendment rights, but I still think we need restrictions, or there should be a limit on what individuals are able to possess. It's a difference than arming yourself with weapons that are able to protect and arming yourself with weapons that are able to create mass destruction, like we saw in both of those two cities, and that we've saw in numerous situations, including in some of our vulnerable communities in Chicago and throughout the United States.
You know, these are young men. Most often in these school shootings or mass shootings, we're seeing teenagers pick up these assault rifles. You mentioned raising the minimum age for purchasing them. But what changes need to be made at the governmental level to ensure that these children who are becoming violent offenders are potentially flagged? Because we were having an earlier discussion on mental health, and that's been politicized heavily. But there are markers of behavior that we can maybe see in every single case. Why is no one connecting that to the gun reform lobby?
I think more importantly, we got to change the cultural norm, change normative behavior in particular situations where individuals feel their only outlet is violence. There has to be trauma-informed care in schools, so that children have outlets and they have people to talk to who have cultural sensitivity and cultural competency and are able to relate to them in a way that the systems and structures and institutions in place aren't able to relate to them now. I think we got to look at how social media is impacting individuals and the pressure that's on individuals in this time that wasn't on individuals in previous times, because the peer pressure is enormous when a situation arises and an individual is experiencing cyberbullying or experiencing some type of conflict. Everybody in the world knows, and there's this pressure to respond in a particular way, and we have to give individuals non-aggressive ways to respond, like we do at Heartland Alliance. I just want to flag or let you know some of the work we're doing at Heartland Alliance. The difference between Heartland Alliance and many other organizations, at Ready Chicago, what we do is we target those individuals you're talking about, individuals that are at the highest risk, and we introduce them into programming such as cognitive behavior intervention that allows them to think through situations and make non-aggressive response to conflict or situations like that.
Giving them the tools is so key, and starting them very young. Dr. Tillmon, thank you very much for being here with Morning in America from the Heartland Alliance. You can look them up online. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.